prior to jury pool.
Judge, we still have to work through that number, and we'll get with Andy. We'll make sure that's good.
And so we are continuing with the conference.
Yes.
If you want to come up on the stand, then please. Remember to vote. Then let's look at it.
May it please the court. Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. Balea.
Good morning, sir.
And may I approach the witness, Your Honor? Mr. Balea, if you could please focus your attention on the interview you did on TMZ on March the 7th of 2012, all right?
Okay.
Okay. You recall in that interview you appeared by phone, and your attorney, David Houston, also appeared by phone. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, just so we're clear, when you and I discussed this at your deposition, there was some confusion because you thought about another phone interview, which was that one that happened in New York. Okay. That is not the one we're going to discuss first thing this morning. We're back at the one that took place on March 7th of 2012. All right? Now, this may help you frame our discussion. That was the one after the report, TMZ first reported publicly that there was the news that there was a Hulk Hogan sex tape out there circulating. So that's the one we're going to talk about. Now, let's take a look at that report. Tim, if you could play, please, Defendant's Exhibit 214. It's clip, I think, C. The introductory portion.
So we're going to talk about the tape, and the best person to talk to about the tape is probably Hulk Hogan. And he joins us now on TMZ Live. Hulk, first of all, welcome.
Yeah, first of all, guys, there were several roommates, okay? Let's at least get that part. No, out of my mind for a while.
Yeah. Mr. Blea, do you recognize your voice on that TMZ report?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you said there, I think you said, first of all, guys, there were several brunettes. Between the divorce from Linda and the time I met Jennifer, I had about 4.5 months that I really went crazy. And I actually wrote about that in my book, about staying drunk and crazy and hitting all the bars. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, tell us, was that a true statement that you made to TMZ?
I was in character and I embellished a little bit about the number of women.
Okay. So when you made that statement to TMZ, was that you, Terry Bollea, or was that you, Hulk Hogan?
I was totally Hulk Hogan because I wasn't at home in my private house.
Okay. All right. Now, I take it when you did that interview with TMZ, you felt comfortable at that time sharing with the public that you had a lot of women between your marriage to Linda ending and the time you got with your new wife, right?
Could you please repeat the question?
Sure. My question was, you felt comfortable sharing publicly that you had a number of women between the time your marriage to Linda ended and your relationship with your new wife commenced. Is that fair to say?
I felt comfortable saying those words, yes, because it was Hulk Hogan and I was just embellishing about, instead of having a couple girls, a bunch of girls, I was just being Hulk Hogan character.
I see. All right. Well, let's do this. If we could please hear the next clip.
Hulk, can I crack one tiny joke here?
Sure, brother.
Just because the one thing that I just found so funny is that you are so famous for your wrestling gear. And apparently in this video, there is a suntan line that would reveal that whoever that person is was wearing a thong.
Yeah, well, let me put it to you this way, brother. When you wrestle in the ring, you don't want like the girls that panty line, with the underwear cut into your cheeks. So basically, when you wear these so-called tights in the wrestling ring, most of the guys wear a jock strap. I prefer a thong, but at the end of the day, let me put it to you this way. I use the thong like the way in a sunbed, not out in public. But the main thing is, thank God that what my ex, how do you want to go there? Let's just say, thank God it wasn't a guy.
Yeah, well, that was the only thing we thought could be worse if it was a young male, so we were grateful. Okay, well,
You're brutal, David.
that's a lawyer? That's a lawyer?
Okay. Mr. Blea, the voices that came on there at the end, part about saying, thank God it wasn't a guy, that was your voice, right?
I'd have to hear it again. It sounded like it was either me or David Houston. I couldn't hear it.
That was Mr. Houston sitting here at table with you, right?
I just didn't hear who said that verbiage about thank God it was a boy, not a boy.
All right. Did you want to hear it again, or?
I don't know what your question would be.
Okay. Did you recognize the voice of your lawyer on that clip that we
Yes,
just
sir. It
watched?
sounded like
Okay.
Mr. David Houston.
And when TMZ shared publicly the information about how the video, the sex tape video that they reviewed, revealed you naked and showing your tan line, did you consider that to be invasive of your privacy?
Well, you can tell it's first off the TMZ said we're joking or we're going to make a joke. So right away it tells you, it's all a character-driven show and it's all, they're having fun. They're trying to entertain you. So, as we're talking about this situation with my rear end, they're saying Hulk. He actually said, Hulk, how do you feel about it? And, sometimes in the ring when you're wrestling, such as when I wrestled Ric Flair, and he beats me up and he runs away, I kind of like pull his pants down, and his rear end hangs out, and he walks around the ring with his rear end hanging out. So, to me, that kind of like was a joke, and this is all joking, but it's totally different than you coming into Terry Bollea's house and taking a private video of me. So that really wasn't that embarrassing to me, because the rear end and the bucking the wrestling thing is kind of like all fun and all joking around, and they were saying it in a very joking manner. How do you feel about your rear end hanging out, Hulk? So it's kind of reminds me of the wrestling. It's a joke.
So I take it, my question is, no, I didn't consider that invasive of my privacy, right?
Having Hulk Hogan's rear end up there, I didn't think that was invasive of Terry Bollea's privacy, right?
All right, fair enough. Now, TMZ posted a report of the interview that you and Mr. Houston did on its website, right? Oh, you don't, okay.
I don't know
See if this
what
helps
report
you.
you're talking about. I'm sorry.
Let's see if this helps you. Directing your attention, Defendant's Exhibit 160, which is a March 7, 2012 post online on TMZ Online, titled, "Hulk Hogan, I have no idea who my sex tape partner is." Do you recall that being posted by TMZ immediately following your TV interview?
No, sir, I don't recall it, but if you say it was posted and that was the actual date, I believe you. I just don't remember every single article that's written all the time.
Sure, I can appreciate that. Let's see if we can help you out here. Tim, if you could call up the Defendant's Exhibit 160. Ah, thank you. And if you could please display the second and third pages. Okay. Okay. Mr. Hogan, Mr. Bollea, if you would look, please. I think we had the headline up there and it just disappeared. Okay. There you go. Do you see the headline that I read to you a moment ago? Hulk Hogan, I have no idea who my sex tape partner is.
Yes, sir, I did see that.
Okay, super. If we could now go to the page of text, all right, you'll see there the second one. Hulk tells us.
Yeah, could you leave that up there for a second? I was trying to read it.
Yeah. There we go. Okay. Well, this is more difficult than I thought. I'm looking for the paragraph that says, Hulk Hogan to TMZ Live moments ago. There you go. Thank you. You see there it says, Hulk Hogan to TMZ Live moments ago, claiming he went on a 4-month alcohol-fueled lady-screwing bender between the time when he left his ex-wife Linda and met his current wife Jennifer. Do you see that?
Yes, sir, I see where they wrote that with their words.
Okay, all right. Now, and that post was dated March 7, 2012 at 1:50 p.m. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let's shift our focus slightly and talk about your dealings with TMZ around this time, around the time of your interview, around the time that they ran this article. So we're focused on March of 2012, all right?
Okay.
Okay. Now, you know TMZ's Mike Walters, don't you?
Yes, sir, I know who he is.
And based on your knowledge of him, he is a reporter for TMZ, right?
Yes, sir.
And he appeared in that TMZ video we just looked at. Did you see him?
I didn't pay attention to who was in there.
Okay. There's a gentleman in there with a black T-shirt,
Yes, sir.
dark hair.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you have talked with him in connection with wrestling news, correct?
With wrestling what?
Wrestling news?
I don't recall if I have or not. It's very possible I have.
Okay. Or wrestling events, you've talked with him about that?
Was it the guy with the dreads?
No,
Black
sir.
hair?
No.
Were you talking about Harvey with the black hair?
No.
So
it's
the guy with the black
gentleman-
hair.
Tim, if we could play the, more of that clip so that Mr. Belay can see. Mr. Belay, we're to help you out. My colleagues informed me that the portion, the brief portion we played did not depict Mr. Walters. So in fairness to you, we're going to play a little bit longer so you can see.
Okay, yeah, I didn't recognize him if he was up there.
Sure. Don't mean to cause confusion.
It's okay.
To the end of the tape, you leave, and Bubba comes back in the room.
Okay. Do you recognize that fellow?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. And is that Mr. Walters?
Yes, it is.
All right. Now, focusing on the discussions you had with Mike Walters in March of 2012, all right? Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Balea, we've created some confusion here, and it is my fault that we have shown you a little clip. I asked you about the fellow in the black T-shirt. We showed you a clip from a later TMZ report, which we'll get to later in the morning, okay? It was not my desire to create confusion for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you the report that aired by TMZ on March 7, 2012. Let you look at that, all right?
I'll do whatever I can to help you. Yes, sir.
Super. Thank you.
Paul, first of all, welcome.
Yeah, first of all, guys, there were several movements, okay? Let's at least get that one. No, there was, between the divorce and when the time I met Jennifer, I had about 4.5 months that I really went crazy. And I actually wrote about it in my book about staying drunk and crazy and in all the bars. So I was really out of my mind for a while.
So you actually, we're going to get to this next day, but you obviously prefer blondes, but was going for brunettes kind of a statement against Linda Hogan?
No, brother, it was just, I don't know what was wrong with me. I was just so shocked and broken up, because I dreamed that I was the guy that was always stay married, and then, when the whole thing went down, and, when the film was a younger guy, I kept everything, and it's nobody's fault but my own, so I'm not blaming her. But, I just went crazy for a while.
Okay, so I want to say, we are also joined on the phone with David Houston, who is your lawyer in this whole thing. So David, welcome as well.
Thank you, Harvey.
So walk us through this. So what year was this tape shot?
Well, brother, I don't know what year it was, but this year, around September, end of September, October, I will have been with Jennifer for 5 years.
That long?
So the question I'm wondering is, why would someone hold on to this for at least 5 years, and then do this to me now? That's what I don't understand, and I did not know it was being done. I didn't say, hey, brunette, let's put a camera up and have a sex tape. I mean, I'm dumb, I'm not dumb and dumber. And so I just don't know why someone would do this, number one. And number two, why they would wait 5 years to release it. At least 5 years.
Hey, Hogan, David, this is Mike Walters. I've actually seen part of this tape. It's kind of how you wrote the story. And for what it looks like, from what I've seen, it appears to be a little bit old. And the reason I say that is from what Hulk and what he looks like and how what he's discussing about working out and stuff, it seems, and I discussed it with that earlier when we did the web story, but it only shows a brunette. It shows him. It's a bedroom. It's security footage from inside of a home, and it shows Hulk kind of going towards a brunette woman, and then that's all that I've seen. I haven't seen whether or not this tape is some lengthy thing or what exactly happens after that.
Does that ring any kind of a bell with you, Hulk?
Ari, I'm not trying to be a smart aleck. And I'm horrible with remembering names, but that's why I call everybody brother. But during that time, that 4 or 5 month window where I was going crazy, the first thing I did was I sat down with Jennifer. I said, I don't even remember people's names. Last weekend that I've met, I meet so many people, much less girls 5 or 6 or 7 years ago or 5 years ago, whatever it was. It's just, I couldn't remember a name if I had to. And the truth is, it wasn't just one brunette. I was running pretty wild there for a few months.
So,
we started hearing about this last night. One of the first things we tried to do is put together a picture of who this could be. It sounds like it's somebody that hit hard times and had the tape, and then hooked up with someone that had the ability to try to market it. And in fairness to them, we want to put them on notice. They're committing a felony. And a lot of people aren't worried about civil liability because they may not have anything, but I think everybody's worried about whether they're going to spend time in jail. And in reality, this is notice. If anybody goes forward with this thing, we're going to find them and we're going to have them prosecuted.
All right. Was that helpful?
Yes, sir, that was Mike Walters there.
Okay. And just again, that was the fella in the black T-shirt?
Oh, I'm sorry I didn't notice. It was the guy that they cut to and said, Hulk, I've seen part of the tape. Hulk.
There you go.
Hulk. I just didn't see the whole thing, whatever.
Right. That fellow that said, "I've seen part of the tape," that was Mike
That
Walters.
was Mike Walters.
Okay, now we're on the same page.
Okay.
Now, you don't recall if you asked Mr. Walters where he got the tape from, right?
No, sir, I don't recall that.
Okay. And you never had a conversation with him where you asked him to destroy the tape, right?
I don't remember asking him personally to destroy anything.
Okay. And you never told Mike Walters not to talk about it publicly, did you?
No, sir. I didn't have a problem with that.
Right. And you never told Mike Walters not to write about this, did you?
No, sir, I did not.
Okay.
I didn't have
Now-
a problem with him writing an article about it.
What's that?
I did not have a problem with him writing an article about the tape.
Right. Now, after these events, after you had the interview and after they published their post online, you didn't talk to Mike Walters off air about the sex tape, did you?
No, sir.
Okay. And the other gentleman we saw there in the intro, Harvey Levin, you didn't talk to him offline about the sex tape, did you?
No, sir.
Okay. And you didn't talk to that gentleman we saw, the fellow with the dreadlocks? You didn't talk to him after you went off the air either, I take it?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, you didn't ask them at this time, when this came out in March of 2012, I take it you didn't ask them to see the sex tape they had, did you?
To what, the sex tape?
To see the sex tape they had?
No, sir, I did not.
Okay. Now, you don't recall if Mike Walters provided you with any information about what he saw on the sex tape, correct?
Just that information right there.
Okay. And isn't that something you would likely recall? If he provided you with information about what he saw on the sex tape, wouldn't you remember that?
From this tape, I don't know.
Okay.
I remember it now. You just showed me this tape, but I've done so many interviews of them. It's just overwhelming to try to remember one interview out of thousands over the last, well, if we're talking about this time frame, the last 7 or 8 years.
Okay. If you could turn, please, and look with me at your deposition. If you look at the 5th volume. Yes,
I didn't hear it.
679.
Which volume?
Yes, sir. Volume 5.
Volume 5. Yes, sir, 679.
Yes, sir. It might be.
Yeah, I'm going to object.
Yes, ma'am. So you don't recall that?
What?
Any discussions with Mike Walters about what he saw on the tape?
No, I don't recall talking with Mike Walters about the tape other than what we just talked about here on that interview.
Okay. Let us move forward in time once again, all right? After you did the TMZ March 7, 2012 appearance, business associates advised you that, well, basically you weren't helping yourself much, giving interviews and dragging this story out, right?
I don't recall that.
Okay. If you could look, please, at Defendant's Exhibit 165, which is a March 8, 2012 email from Dixie Carter. Defendant's Exhibit 165. All right. Mr. Blayett, do you see that there on your screen?
Yeah, could you make it bigger? Oh, there you go. Thank you.
There you go. Now, at the time, Ms. Carter was connected with TNA, right?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Yes, sir. At the time, Ms. Carter was connected with TNA, right?
Yes, sir, and she still is.
Okay. And at the time, you were working for TNA, or working with them, weren't you?
What was that date?
This is March 8, 2012, the day after the TMZ report.
I'd have to, it's a possibility. I'm not good with dates. I'm really
Let
not.
me see if this helps you out. When we move forward yet again in time, we're going to get to the fall, around the time Gawker posted the article that brings us
Yes,
all
sir.
here together. That was in October of 2012. And you told us yesterday you were about to go on this media tour.
Okay, yeah, well, then I was working with them. That helps me remember if you tell me what I was doing.
There you go.
Because just a date to me is like,
Right. You're just not a fellow that zeroes in on dates.
or names. I'm real bad with both.
Fair enough. All right. So now you've got kind of the chronology in your mind, and you'll see that this is an email you received from Ms. Carter. You see that?
Yes, I see it.
Okay. Now, if we could look, please, at...
Could I read this, please, first?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you. Yes, I did. I just wanted to read it before you passed on. I wanted to see what it was.
No, sure. Now, let's look together at the first paragraph. You see she says there, I love you to death, but I have to be honest and say, I think this interview is so beneath you. TMZ used it to verbally set up the sex tape and took what you said to drag this story out even further with sensational headlines, etc. It benefits them, but not you. I am on your team, but people like Rena Center and others can look at this differently. I'm surprised your attorney let you agree to the interview, but I have to say this as well. Seeing your attorney's face/name on this makes me think he did this more for him than you. Did you see that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And if you continue in the second graph, you see it says, Terry, this is my specialty. Had I known you were going to do this, I would have tried to stop you and said to issue a simple statement. It would have positioned you in a much more positive light and thrown water on this story to extinguish it versus fuel on it to keep it going. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I take it you did not heed Ms. Carter's advice, did you?
Oh, no, I did not.
Okay. because you came to a different judgment, saw what she wrote you, but you reached a different conclusion. Is that fair to say?
Well, I was listening to my attorneys, and there's a whole bigger issue than just this one interview. And she says this is her specialty, and it's not. She was a publicist like 20 years before, and a lot of stuff has changed. And it was her opinion. I value it very, very much, but she said something about my attorney's decision to agree to do the interview. She doesn't understand all the legal stuff that was going on that, you know, led us to do this.
Okay. So you considered that and you came to a different conclusion?
Yes, sir, we did. We decided
All right.
to do
And
what we did.
with the benefit of conversations with your counsel?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Let us move again. Now we're going to move forward in time. And we're going to talk about, we're going to focus our attention on April 2012. All right? So we're moving just about a month. And I'm going to direct your attention to Defendant's Exhibit 57. And we saw this during the openings yesterday. This was that post that came out, remember this, in the dirt.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Blair, do you recognize that exhibit there? Defendant's Exhibit 57?
I do.
Okay. Now, so we're focused on April of 2012. You heard that there were still photos
Yes, sir.
surfacing at that time.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you look at this photo, do you recognize this as Bubba's bedroom? At the time, in April, did you recognize that as Bubba's bedroom?
To the best of my recollection, yes.
All right.
I can't vividly picture the room, but as best I remember, that's what it looks like.
Okay. And you thought that you recognized that at the time?
At what time?
When they came out in April 2012?
I don't remember. I don't recall if I saw it then. So many stills were coming out and popping up of the same thing. I don't remember if I saw this then, but I saw it yesterday, and I do recognize it, yes.
But I'm focused on the period when it came out in April of 2012.
If it would have came out then, and I saw it, I would recognize it, yes. I've seen, I don't know if this is what I saw on whatever it is, the dirty, but I do recognize it.
Okay. Let me see if this will help.
I just don't know where when I saw this on April 12th. I know I saw this.
Okay. If you could look, please, at Volume 3, page 359.
359?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you would look, please, at line 2.
Line 2?
Okay. You see there it says question. Okay. When you look at this photograph, do you recognize this as Bubba's bedroom? See your answer there at line 5, the witness. I can't tell if this is Bubba's bedroom or not by this picture. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So at the time, you didn't recognize that, did you?
I'm sorry, where was that line again?
Just for the record, that's sorry, line 2, line 3.
Let's look at it again.
I can't tell if that's Bubba's bedroom. It sure looks like it. I mean, I wouldn't bet my life on it, but it looks exactly like Bubba's bedroom.
Okay. You want to line 2? That's where it started.
Right, but we were announced it in the record, you said line 3, so I was just...
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Line 2, did you see where I read? Line 2, question. Okay.
Yes, sir.
When you look at this photograph, do you recognize this as Bubba's bedroom? Answer. The witness at line 5. I can't tell if this is Bubba's bedroom or not by this picture.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You see that?
Yes, I do.
Now, at the time when you saw this photo, you indicated that you couldn't tell who it was in the picture, right?
No, I still can't tell who it is. My best guess would be me.
Your best guess now?
Yeah, if I had to guess right now, I would say that would be me, if that's Bubba's bedroom, but I can't, it's just such a bad picture.
Okay, and you can't make yourself out.
Exactly.
Gotcha. All right. Now, you heard at this time, in April 2012, you heard that there were these still photos circulating out there, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you did, you contacted Bubba, right?
Yes, I called him or talked to him in person to talk to him about the situation.
Okay. And you asked Bubba about this, right?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. And you asked him about where these still photos came from, right?
Yes, I did.
All right. And Bubba told you at that point, in April of 2012, he said, well, Heather must have done it, right?
That's who he blamed, yes, sir.
Okay. And you believed him, right?
I sure did.
All right. Now, after Bubba told you that Heather did it, you never tried to contact her, did you?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. When these still photos came out, and now we're in April of 2012, and the rumors started circulating, you contacted Bubba, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. You did not contact the other brunettes that you told TMZ about, did you?
No, sir. I would have no way to contact anybody.
Okay. You didn't contact any of those other brunettes, did you?
I would have no way even if I wanted to.
All right. Let us now move forward again in time. We're going to advance, and now we're going to go to the fall of 2012. In particular, October 4, 2012. And as we know, that is when Gawker posted its piece on its website, right?
I don't know if that's the exact date, but if you say it is, I believe you because I'm not good with dates.
Okay. All right. So for purposes of our discussion
Yes, sir.
this morning, we'll say October 4, 2012.
That's fine, yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let us do this. And we touched on a moment ago how you were going to do that publicity tour for TNA.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So to focus on that, let's look at Defendant's Exhibit 76. Mr. Belay, can you see that? Is that big enough for you to see okay?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. All right. Now, this is, or I believe it is, your itinerary for your New York City media tour to promote the TNA Bound for Glory tour. Is that your understanding?
The itinerary?
Yeah. You may want to look,
I don't see anything attached for an itinerary.
look at the, Tim, if you could display the second page.
Uh-huh.
You see there, Mr. Belay, at the very top of the portion that's displayed,
Yes, sir, I see it now.
Hulk Hogan, New York City media
Yes, sir.
tour, Bound for Glory.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Now, the purpose of your media tour in, what do we have there, the dates? Can you make out those dates?
8 through 10,
Yeah, at the very top, Tim?
October 8 through 10.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. The purpose of that tour was to promote this pay-per-view event that was coming up, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Now, the first appearance you had on October 9 was on the Howard Stern Show.
That's what it
See
says.
that?
Yes, sir, that's what it says.
Okay. And we saw some of that yesterday, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next entry, if you move on down the page, we have the Today Show. You see that?
Yes, I do.
All right. With Kathy Lee and Hogan. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you look over on page 4, you'll see it refers to an appearance on Piers Morgan, CNN Live.
Yes, sir.
There we go. You see that?
Yes, I do.
All right. And you were interviewed by Piers Morgan, weren't you?
I have been, yes, sir. I just don't know. I'm sure if it's there, we interviewed because we went right down this itinerary, and if that was on there, we did that interview. Plus, there may have been other stuff added as we went during the day where they could say, okay, before Piers Morgan, you could stop here and get a quick radio thing. But if it's on there, we did it. I do not remember canceling anything. I just remember adding on stuff on that tour.
So you fulfilled your commitment.
I'm sure I
made
did,
these
yes, sir.
appearances,
I'm sure I
And what
did.
you're explaining to us is you probably even did more.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I did.
Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to focus your attention again on your appearance on Howard Stern on October 9, 2012. Looked at that a bit yesterday. And let's look at a clip from Defendant's Exhibit 302, which is your appearance on that show.
Yeah, but doesn't the tape in a way, I'm going to present something to you.
Yeah.
Make you look like a god? I mean, A, you don't look physically bad, you look good.
Well, that's part of it.
She's screaming about your big thick cock. Dude. I mean, if I was in a tape, the girl would be like, when are you going to put it in? You come off like a stud. Honest to God, are you kidding me? Do you think you come off bad in that tape? I mean, let's...
Now, explain to us yesterday that you were familiar with Howard Stern's program.
Yes, sir.
Judge, if you could, we ask that play to balance that clip for the rule of completeness. We think it's out of context without the remainder. His response to that last question, it was out there. In other words, they should have just asking the question about the response. For the record, Judge, it's 302, D302, please, Judge, what's up to that?
Your Honor, thought the way this was going to work is we would play clips. They would play what they preferred in their case, but we're happy to do this, but it's going to take a few minutes to find it. So rather than have folks...
All right, why don't we take a quick comfort break while we sort out these technical issues? Thank you all very much.